The racing Postcast in association with Paddy Power. They pay more extra places than any other bookie.
Hello one and all, and welcome to Ascot, where the sun is shining, the heat is almost unbearable, and we're all set for a fantastic Royal meeting. Weather description might not be quite accurate, but I am correct in saying that I'm joined here by Mr. Lewis Porteous, Mr. Stuart Riley and Mr. Tony O'Hare, all racing post great. So we're here to look at day 2 of the Royal meeting, when the highlight is the most prestigious race of the 5 days, the Prince of Wales Stakes, and it features the very best horse in the world, the beast from the east, Haitian Hikari, who dazzled us so much in the Prix d'Ispahan at Chantilly. Paddy Power, they're making the 4 to 6 favourite, a red hot jolly here, 3 to 1 found, 8 to 1 the Great Gatsby, 14's Western Hymn, and then 16's My Dream Boat and Trista. The betting says it's a one-horse race. Lewis, is it a one-horse race?
I think it is, Lee. I couldn't really take him on. I was half fancying Time Test until he came out. The ground's soft. Haitian Hikari, superstar and good to firm in his native Japan. He won in Hong Kong. He turns up in France on soft ground. You're thinking this isn't going to be his cup of tea. He wins by 11 lengths and gets the world's best rating. You know, he doesn't. I don't even think he's going to be at his best to win this. And yeah, I don't think ground conditions are going to be a problem. So I wouldn't be betting personally, but I think he'll win, Lee.
Stuart, his performance at Chantilly was such that the French commentator going past the post let out a woo.
Oh, he was very special.
The commentator or the horse?
The horse mainly.
The horse was good.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I'm sure the commentator was very good as well. Good. But French isn't my strong point, so.
Well, woo,
whoosh is
in whatever language.
Yes, yeah. No, he was breathtaking. The horse I was interested in was Trista until the ground went against him. I just thought the fast pace that Haitian Hikari would really set it up for him to close off, but ground's gone against him. I might stick the Great Gatsby in an each way. Yankee, try and nab second.
The crown won't be great for him either, will it?
I think he's got class. I just think he's very good. He's one of those horses. He was banging his head against the wall last year. Yeah. You know, I think he's very good, and he might be good enough to pick up second.
Okay, Tony, Found represents Ballydoyle. I think a lot of us thought we wouldn't see her for a while after the Coronation Cup. They brought her out here. Firstly, the ground, how will that impact on her chance?
It won't be ideal for her, far from it. She does like a bit of ease, but I'd say it'll be too testing maybe for her. I mean, I'm a big fan of her. 2 Group 1 wins, both at the end of the season as a 2-year-old, and again last year. Placed runner-up in 6 Group 1s. I mean, she gives it her all every time, and I can see her finishing second, but I'd be pleasantly surprised if she can beat the Japanese horse.
So realistically, are we all unanimous that Haitian Hikari wins the Prince of Wales Stakes?
Definitely. I'll just give a quick mention to Western Hymn. He's probably one in the field that the ground will suit. John Gosden continuously says if it's too fast, this horse won't run. The ground's come right. He could, put in a career best. There could be more to come, but I think second at best.
Okay, we go into a commercial break then with a bombshell that everyone here thinks Haitian Hikari will win the Prince of Wales Stakes.
Here's Paddy Power's latest offer for Royal Ascot. It's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second to the SP5 in every single race throughout Royal Ascot. Max £25 per race, 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
One of my most favourite Royal Ascot moments was when Zilzal charged down this track to win the Jersey Stakes in 1989. I can tell you right now, there are no Zilzals in this Jersey field. In fact, it's often a race that looks great beforehand, then you get to August and you think, why were we so excited about that? But a big field, Tony, and interestingly, only one Irish horse in this year's journey, Herald the Dawn at the top.
Yeah, Jim Bulger has won twice over the trip on testing ground and on fast ground. Ran in the Guineas at Newmarket, ran okay. He'll run his race. He could be in the first 4 or 5, but I wouldn't put him forward as a betting proposition.
We do have Guineas form, more Guineas form in the field as well, because Ribchester, who ran 3rd at Newmarket, lines up here. Stuart, that was a really solid run, and John Ferguson, speaking at an Ascot press event last week, the chief executive of Godolphin, named Ribchester as the operation's best chance of a win, or the best bet maybe, at the meeting. He looks a strong contender.
He does. He ran a great race in the Guineas. Galileo Gold came out and ran brilliantly in Ireland, really showed that he is a top-class horse, so to get that close was impressive. I actually like the 6 furlong horses stepping up here rather than the mile horses coming back.
Right.
The likes of Gifted Master really stands out to me, and won at a huge price. If you like the Gifted Master form, who is C-Note.
Okay.
He was 4th behind Gifted Master last time, I think. Really impressive run. The step up in triple really suited him. He's an impressive looking animal as well. So won at a big price. I really quite like him.
Okay, Lewis, we've not mentioned the favourite yet. Paddy Power quoting 11-2 about Castle Harbour. Got very little experience, but won a very strong handicap at York.
Yeah, I can't have it, to be honest.
Can't have it?
Nah, I mean, I couldn't believe the prices here. How can Gifted Master not be favourite? It's rated £17 inferior to that, to Castle Harbour. Yeah, it isn't favourite. Gifted Master's got rock solid credentials. He's won at 6, won at a mile, 7's his optimum, won on good to soft. He's got the Group 3 penalty. But like I said, he's almost a stone and a half rated superior to Castle Harbour at this stage. He turns up every day, he'll run his race. I think he'll go really close.
Anything else that we like in the race, Tony? I mean, what would you fancy in the jersey?
Be honest with you, I'll bow to my colleagues here, knowledge of the British form. I'll be staying out.
Tony will be staying out of the Jersey Stakes. You will be staying in with C-Note.
Yeah.
At a big price for Martin Mead. And Lewis, you are a Gifted Master man, big time.
Yeah, 13-2 with Paddy Power. It's a value bet, Lee.
Okay, we go on then from that to the Queen Mary Stakes, and this promises to be something very special indeed, or it certainly did when the ground looked like being quicker. Remember 12 months ago, the beast that was Acapulco, Wesley Ward had that great quote about how she looks like a 4-year-old, not a 3-year-old. Well, she looked like a 3-year-old, not a 2-year-old. She was amazingly quick, and the way Wesley's been talking in the build-up to this race is that Lady Aurelia, who blitzed them over 4.5 furlongs at Keendon last time, will be nigh on impossible to beat. But the ground has changed. Well, he still sounds confident about Lady Aurelia, but Lewis, you're going to be looking maybe, I don't know, 2-1, Paddy Power going 9-4, they're keen to take her on. Are you keen to take her on the ground?
I think so. She's only had one run, it was on dirt. Obviously she's been flying on this fast turf in America that they've schooled her on, but this is totally different. 2-1's far too short. It's a sort of race you can throw a couple of darts at bigger prices, I think, here, Lee. For what it's worth, my two would be Clem Fandango and Madam Dance a Lot, both from unfashionable yards, but Clem Fandango, it's a winner on good to soft. It very almost won the Hillary Needle last time, got beat by a very good horse of Hands that they rate highly, Griselle.
Yeah.
You know, she's top on our Racing Post ratings, and she's very fast. She's won against the rail. She might just get away from them. I think at a big price she'll run well.
Okay, Stuart, Lewis bit down on Lady Aurelia. I backed her at 7-4. She's now 9-4. So already I'm doing well, aren't I?
You're doing very well, yeah.
Will she handle the ground? Will she blitz them?
If she handles the ground, I think she will blitz them. It's a big question. I think the big thing is Wesley Ward has proven that he knows what he's doing when he comes over and he targets these 2-year-old races. He's very hard to beat in them. Now, he brought her over expecting completely different ground to what he's getting, so I think that is the big question mark with her. But if she handles it, I think she does blitz them.
And Wesley, the way Wesley was talking this morning, I heard a TV interview he gave, she is the one horse he didn't sound concerned about with ground.
He's an incredibly positive guy, Wesley. He's always very positive about his horses. But yeah, I mean, if she handles it, and if he thinks she does, then you've got no reason to not believe him.
Anything against her that you're particularly sweet?
Yeah, there's one I really like, and it's Mark Johnson's horse, Katrine. The reason here is slightly convoluted, but Mark Johnson has another horse in the race who's got 3 runs to her name. She was third on her first start. Yes, third on her first start, second, and then she was first here last time in a decent maiden. And Joe Fanning's got off her to ride Mark Johnson's other horse, who's had just 1 start to her name. Didn't look particularly impressive, but the fact that Joe Fanning has made that move, I'm interested. It caught my eye, so I might take a chance on her at a big price.
Okay, Katrine. Tony, for the second consecutive race, just the one representative, this time Ballydall's Roly Poly. Now, has Sue Magnier named her after my favourite suet dessert, or Les Dawson's famous dance troupe?
I can't answer that. No, as long as you're not referring to Roly Poly as your Irish correspondent.
No.
She won first time out at Naas, was very green, won by short head. The horse that she beat, unfortunately, was killed afterwards, so the form is hard enough to rate. But she ran okay in the race of the Curragh behind stable companion Caravaggio, taking on the Colts. She has a chance. I could see her finishing in the money, but is she a banker? Far from it, I would say.
I suppose anyone, of course, who's watching or listening to this after the Coventry will have more of an idea based on the Caravaggio form. But the way you're talking, you don't sound as if they're bringing here with a huge amount of confidence themselves.
I don't think so. I think they're expecting her to run well, and as I say, I can see her running in the first 4 or 5. But as a betting proposition, not for me.
Okay, no to Roly Poly. We go from Roly Poly to the Duke of Cambridge Stakes. Really good race again this year. Race that's quickly established itself in the Royal Ascot programme. And Andre Fabre saddles the hot favourite this year in Usherette, who we saw win so well in the Dahlia Stakes at Newmarket. And again, John Ferguson, the Godolphin boss, at this Ascot press event last week, when he spoke about Usherette, he said that whenever he mentions Usherette's name to Andre Fabre, it makes Andre smile. So it's almost like a party trick he's playing there with Andre and Usherette. Stuart, Usherette, she was good last time, wasn't she?
She was mightily impressive. I thought she was incredibly good. I think Arabian Queen's a very solid yardstick. She beat her comfortably. Yeah. She beat her in a manner that screamed, "Step me back in trip to a mile and I will completely blitz them." Yeah. I think she reminds me a lot of Issa Tariq, who ran here in the Queen Anne last year, ran a very good race just behind Solo. I think she's a class apart from the rest of these. The one that is of slight interest to me is the other Godolphin horse in the black cap, Lucida. Just a slight worry about the ground for her, but yeah, I think Usherette really is the one that's going to take all the beating. Yeah,
the ground would be worried, wouldn't it, for Lucida? But on her best form, things like the Guinea second last year to Legatissimo.
She ran great here as well.
She did run great here, yeah. She third in that, wasn't she? She'd have a massive chance.
She would, but the ground could be an issue, all right. There's another Godolphin runner in that race for William McCready, Devonshire. She's a bit defined sort of on form, but what she does do is handle that type of ground very well. Right. I think she could run very respectably at a decent price.
You prefer Devonshire to Lucida?
Not on form, but
on the conditions. Lewis, Godolphin got an interesting runner here in the shape of, we've got a number of interesting runners here. Always Smile is another one, just touched off by Frankie in the Sandringham last year, but that winning return at York, where she beat a horse we'll mention quite soon, Convey, loads to like about that.
Yeah, throw another Godolphin horse in there to confuse it even more. Yeah, but I think, to be honest, I think I'd make a my selection. Very lightly raced. There's going to be loads more to come. I think James Doyle's on record as saying he messed up last year. If he'd have had his time again, he'd have been more confident and she'd have won. Just point out that horses running with penalties in this race have an awful record. So I'll press her. Some really top-class fillies have been beaten. Admittedly, she's only got a £3 penalty, Usherette, but I'd take her on with Always Smile. Tried on the soft ground. It's an unknown, but about 8-1 with Paddy Power. I think there's a stack of improvement to come.
OK, Lewis makes a point in there about penalties. It's a good one, and it provides a seamless link, because we've been speaking to Graham Motion, who runs Miss Temple City. She ran here at the meeting last year. This time she has Ryan Moore on board. She has the biggest penalty in the race, carries 9 stone 5, and we've been speaking to Graham to find out what he thinks about the fillies' chances.
I thought she ran very well last year without perhaps having the perfect trip. As a group, we'd sort of discussed it with Sean and the team, and we very much felt that if she was doing well, that we'd like to come back. And but she needed to come out and run well first time out, and she did. I'm not that familiar with the field, to be honest, at this point, but I couldn't be happy with how she's doing. Yeah, it was something again we talked about as a team. We wanted to go to a European rider this time. I think for us, for the horses and the American jockeys, I think the straight mile is very tricky. I thought with Animal Kingdom we probably didn't do it right. I'd like to think that each time I've come I've learned a little bit more about it, and I think having Ryan is a huge asset to us to have him on
OK, before we look at the last 2 races on the Royal Ascot card, 2 very easy looking handicaps, here's a few thoughts on Paddy Power's Brendan Duke. Day 2 of Royal Ascot, and it's 2 fillies that are giving us the biggest headaches. In the Queen Mary Stakes, Wesley Ward has made no secret of the regard to Lee Hall's Lady Aurelia in. We are hoping that the ground will blunt her speed perhaps, and we've horses running for us. We'll hope to get her beat. Also in the Duke of Cambridge Stakes, Usherette will be a short price, very impressive earlier in Newmarket, and have to respect Andre Fab at this meeting. But again, we hope that having some unexposed fillies on our side, we can get her beat. The one we're looking to keep is Dunica in the Royal Hunt Cup. The ground will definitely help him, and he's often looked like he had one of these big field handicaps in him. And for my bet of the day, Anamba in the last, Michael Halford trained filly, highly progressive, would have been a credible runner in the Coronation Stakes in my opinion, and looks very fairly treated in this lesser company.
Here's Paddy Power's latest offer for Royal Ascot. It's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second to the SP Fav in every single race throughout Royal Ascot. Max £25 per race, 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
Welcome back. Well, if you thought things like your local newspaper crossword or Sudoku were difficult, what about the Royal Hunt Cup, a mammoth field going down the Ascot Straight Mile in very difficult ground as well on this occasion? But punters and bookmakers are showing massive respect for Sir Michael Stout's Convey, who was a really unlucky loser of the 1 mile Hambleton Handicap at York's main meeting, then ran a decent race in the John O'Gorton Stakes at Haydock, is £7 well in. And Lewis, is he almost too obvious, Convey?
It's a bit cliche, but he is a group horse in the handicap, isn't he?
Yeah.
The issue I have is, you say he was unlucky 2 runs ago, and you could say that last time at Haydock was a bit unlucky, but he doesn't half think about it when he gets up to a horse's girth, and the ears start going, and he's got a master on board him, but he's going to be at his best to time it right. I think the horse has got his own ideas. He's a class act, but 30 runners, it's too short for me, Lee.
Okay, Stuart Heath, Paddy Power's 6-1 favourite, Convey 6-1 a good price, about the Hunt Cup potential good thing?
I don't think 6-1's a good price about any horse in a race like the Hunt Cup. It's fast, it's frenetic, can all come from anywhere, and I'd want a double figure price about anything to get involved in the race.
How will he be on the ground, Convey?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Tony, do you know the answer to that question?
No.
Lewis?
Yeah, there was a bit of ease at Haydock, wasn't there? I don't think that'll get him beat, but like I say, it's not, you want more of a value in a race like this. It's a cavalry charge. Loads have been laid out to it. I quite like Azraf, Marco Barty's runner.
Yeah.
Just a £4 race, what was ultimately quite a cosy win at Newbury last time. The beauty of him is all ground comes alike. He'll run his race. He's just sneaked in off a lovely low way. He could have gone up maybe, I was thinking £6 or £7 for that win, but he's only gone up 4, and I think he'll be in the frame at least. Okay.
Tony, we spoke about a lot of good Dolphin horses in this programme today. Another one representing Ireland, Portage. Disappointed, was it this meeting last year he disappointed in the Britannia?
He didn't have much luck in running, but he came back in July and he won a sort of big handicap here. He was second in the Irish Cambridgeshire, and he was a close 5th in the Cambridgeshire at Newmarket. He won first time out this season on very different ground. Adaptable in terms of ground. He's got a £5 penalty. I think he's got a sort of an each way chance at a big price. He runs another horse in the race, Michael Halford, Hasanur.
Yep.
I'd say the ground is gone for him, whatever chance he had.
Okay, so you're not tipping either of the Irish horses?
Well, I think Portage has an each way chance.
An each way chance. Stuart, we've got the Lincoln winner in here as well. Another Godolphin horse. Secret Brief, we haven't seen him since the Lincoln, and not unduly punished for that success.
No, and I think the reason we might not have seen him since the Lincoln is to protect his mark for this race, and the way he won the Lincoln, there was given the ground that day, and he'll get that here. He'll also have the. He's another one who fits the bill. He could step up into group class after this, and they might just have protected his mark for today.
Okay, and what would you be tipping in the Hunt Cup?
I'm a huge fan of Eddie Greatrex, and he isn't riding for Andrew Boulding, which I thought was interesting. Roger Charlton has tempted him onto Captain Cat, so I might chuck a few quid at that each way at a big price.
And does anybody like, because he's got the best name in the race, Boom Shakalaka?
Not really.
No.
Well, that made for great TV. And we end with the Sandringham handicap, another big field handicap down the Ascot Straight Mile. Cracking finish last year, Frankie on a sailor, just winning it from Godolphin. And Frankie has the favourite here again, Paddy Power going 7-1, Persuasive. John Gosden filly. Stuart, what do you think about Persuasive?
It's hard to crab an unbeaten John Gosden filly coming into a race like this. She's unexposed, she's open to any amount of improvement. All these things. She comes in with a very sexy profile, doesn't she? She's the sort of profile that gets people excited, and yeah, I can see why she heads the better.
Tony, I was watching the race at Naas the other day, a number one, listed race as well, for Godolphin, and William Buick went over for that one that day. Was that a good sign that William was over for her?
It was a good sign, okay, but the big question with her is the ground, because she was withdrawn, I think, from Irish Guineas weekend because of the ground, and would definitely prefer it better. She's smart, but ground could be a big issue.
A numerically quite a strong Irish challenge in this race. Does anything catch your eye?
Numerically, yeah, bigger numbers, all right. I wouldn't sort of rate obvious chances for many of them. I mean, Anamba is the best of them, but big question mark.
Okay, Tony, a bit downbeat then about Ireland's chances in the Sandringham. Are you upbeat about anything in the race?
And I like Annenbar. Poured a bit of cold water on it there, Tony has, but a listed winner towards the top of the weights for a reason. Impressed me last time. She could be the one that, on the upgrade that turned out to be a bit better than this. Annenbar would be my play in the last on what could be a good day for Godolphin.
Okay, I think that then is 6 races wrapped up. Just need to get best bets from the lovely men here. Tony, we'll start with you. What's your best bet on day 2 of the Royal Meeting?
I'm not going to nap anything. I think 2 Irish horses with good each-way chances are Portage and Devonshire, each way.
Okay. Stuart, are you going to be a bit more conclusive about your likes or your dislikes?
I think the nap of the day is Usherette. I think she's going to take an awful lot of beating. I think my best bet of the day is C-Note each way. I think he's a massive price, and I think he definitely has every chance of hitting the frame.
Okay, and Lewis?
Gifted Master gets off to a winning start, but take Usherette on. Always smile.
Always smile, and we always smile when we're at Royal Ascot. It's a lovely place. Even in the rain, and we're back here tomorrow looking forward to day 3 of the Royal Meeting, which of course features the Gold Cup. We'll see you then.
The Racing Postcast in association with Paddy Power. They pay more extra places than any other bookie.